Hello everyone, Jimmy is with you as always, and today we have another selection of stories. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. This is very important to me. Well, we are starting. First story today from the user, Undulating Wave. Let's listen. I was with my ex-girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, from secondary school. We'd been together for 10 years and were working hard to save up and get married. We were working in different cities about 70 miles apart, but I would get the train every weekend to be with her. Anyway, when her sister, let's call her Katie, applied to university in my city, she lived in halls for the first year, but couldn't really afford a place to live in a decent location. So I said that she could come and live with me rent-free. It wasn't weird at all. I'd known her since she was 9. It made everything more manageable for her family. Everything was okay for about a year. Even nice. She was tidy, pretty much kept to herself, had a few friends over, but didn't party or bring boyfriends home while I was there. I assume she did at weekends when I was away. Just over a year and a half ago, Sarah told me she had been cheating on me in a massive way. She had been in a relationship with another guy for about 3 months and had been living in his house, only coming back to the flat at weekends when I was coming down to visit. She decided that she wanted to live with him openly and was tired of lying to me. She admitted that most weekends she would find time to go back and have sleep with him if there was an opportunity to. It was a horrible shock, and I felt completely numb for weeks. Katie was busy with university and was unbelievably nice about the whole thing. She stayed out of my way and got on with her studies, didn't bring friends or boyfriends home. She finished her degree. I assumed that she would move on and move out, but she got a job at the university admin department and is still living here. It's not awkward for me in terms of living with her, but it's really difficult to explain to friends, and it's still a little painful because she looks a lot like Sarah. I don't feel comfortable saying to women that I live with my cheating ex-girlfriend's little sister, but I can't exactly tell her to find somewhere else, because none of this is really her fault. What should I do? Author posted full backstory. I'd 28 male, been with Sarah, 27 female, not her real name, since we were teenagers and we were living in different cities, trying to save up enough for a house together. Her sister Katie, 22 female, again not her real name, applied to university in my city. And after a year in halls, moved in with me for economy's sake. We'd known each other forever. It was fine. Solved problems all round. Just over a year and a half ago, Sarah told me she had been cheating on me in a massive way. She had been in a relationship with another guy for about 3 months and had been living in his house, only coming back to the flat at weekends when I was coming down to visit. She decided that she wanted to live with him openly and was tired of lying to me. She admitted that most weekends she would find time to go back and have sleep with him if there was an opportunity to once I had fallen asleep. It was a horrible shock, and I felt completely numb for weeks. After 18 months, Katie was still living with me, non-romantically. I wasn't sure what to do about this, and when I posted on relationships, I was just coming round to the realization that I liked having her around and didn't want her to leave. Since I posted, we've spent more time together socially, and on Monday I asked if she'd like to go for dinner as a kind of date. We had a really nice time. We kissed once, but we didn't go further. We both realize this is a complex situation and want to take things slowly. I can't help feeling that I'm irretrievably an asshole, though. Am I? Author edited this story. Thank you all for your comments, whether you assholed me or not. Is that the correct verb? We have had a long talk, first just between us and then with her dad and aunt. Her mom died 6 years ago. They have been very supportive since Sarah and I broke up, and we wanted to involve them before going any further. We are going to take things very slowly, and her dad is going to pay half rent. He offered to pay to help her move out, as some people had suggested, but for financial reasons, that would be difficult for him and impossible for her to manage financially. We haven't decided about telling Sarah. I haven't spoken to her since it happened, and Katie has only spoken to her in occasional messages. We have talked about everything that has been raised on here at some length. It is a difficult situation, and there is a power dynamic that we have done what we can to mitigate. Ultimately, we do have feelings for each other, and have for some time, I would absolutely never have dated her for revenge or for any other reason. And I would never do anything to hurt or upset her. I understand if you still think I'm an asshole, but I'm trying my best. Author update this story. I have had 2 requests for updates, and I'm not sure if there's a threshold, but I thought I'd share anyway in case anyone was curious, and to say thank you for the advice. It did shape the way we went about getting together, who we told, and when. Our families have been incredibly supportive, and we are really happy together. It has been about a month, but it feels so perfectly right. We have had endless conversations about our feelings and our plans. We have started to redecorate the house, and we are planning to go on holiday together in the summer. It feels so much more wonderful than I had ever imagined it would be. I don't know what else to add, but if you ever find yourself in a difficult situation, talking it through is so important. Everybody feels safer and better about everything when you communicate. All the best. Author update this story in the second time. We're now engaged, and we're starting to plan the wedding for early next year. The relationship between my fiancée and her sister, or my ex, is better than it was. They exchange messages at birthdays and Christmas, but don't meet up or exchange presents. She is still single and now lives abroad, and she found out about the engagement a couple of months ago. At Christmas, she mentioned needing to know the date early to book the cheapest flights home, and my fiancé was too shocked to reply. She doesn't want her sister there. I'm too excited about getting married to care too much one way or the other. I'd prefer her not to be there, but I'd roll with it if necessary. My fiancé doesn't want her there, but all her family assume it will be fine for the day because it's a family wedding, and it should all be water under the bridge. I can't stress enough how little I care about the sister being there or not. I just want everyone else to be as happy at the wedding as I'll be, impossible, or as close to that as I can manage. That's what I think about this story. Not sure why everyone's all grossed out by the fact they knew each other as kids. He didn't groom her. There's only a 6-year gap, and their relationship appears to have developed naturally. Let's check the user's comments and OP answers. Gosh, if only 149 people had warned you this would happen 4 years ago, I'd let your fiancé handle this. Her sister, her family, her objection? Stay the hell out of it and support whatever your fiancé chooses. Thanks, this is what I'm planning on doing, and if asked, I'll just support her choice. When his ex broke up with him, the only piece of advice that I could think of was I hope he's able to build himself so that she'll regret breaking up with him. Because at the end of the day, there's no point holding grudges over the situation, and the best thing you can do is move on and hold your head up high as you try to find someone else who respects you. Then we get to gear the update of him getting to build the life he wanted with someone. That's pretty awesome. Hope his ex stays out of his happily ever after. The second story from the user, Big Mouth Bad Karma, let's listen. We've been together 3 years. Only in the last year, his alcoholism started to show. He is a mean drunk, so every time after he goes out to drink, he arrives home only to scream at me. He also got into drugs, so the arriving home is around 10 a.m. after not hearing from him for half a day. The shouting finally became name-calling. After giving him an ultimatum about his lifestyle choices and how they affect me, I was promised everything will change. No more nights turned into mornings, turned into evenings. No more leaving me to go home alone. No more shouting. No more drugs. No more secrets as where he is or with whom. But he doesn't know. I know he lied every weekend when he told me he is in bed, sleeping. He doesn't know I know every girl he gave his Insta to, that I know he begged his friends to lie to me. He doesn't know that as soon as he comes home after his residency exam, I will have my stuff packed and ready to leave 1 week from today. He doesn't know that while he is talking about us buying a house together and getting married, I cry because of how stupid he was, not because I am happy. He is currently singing in the other room, making plans for how we'll celebrate if he passed the exam. Author update this story. I did break up with him. Thank you all for liking and commenting. I did read each and every comment of yours, and it was a relief going through this week. A few clarifications that may have sparked confusion. I am not from the US. English is not my first language. So when I Googled residency exam, it seemed like what I was referring to the exam a med student takes to start working in a hospital. So, referring to those that told me to tell his boss, he doesn't have one. To those who told me to report to the board, there isn't a board. He took several admission tests that verify him apt psychologically and physically. He passed all those tests. I cannot go against several doctors' approval with just my word. I went to the hospital and asked what I have to do to prove he's a danger. They told me that I would need hard proof that I cannot get. But the hospital reassured me there are checkups and they will keep an eye on him. I also told his parents and his friends the real reason we broke up. Now, the breakup. It did not go violently. I did what was suggested, and I met him in a public place after his exam. At first he acted very weird, got up and left, just to quickly came back saying he is sorry, but he doesn't want to feel this pain. We had a very civil talk where I told him how alone he made me feel every time we would go out and come back only at 12 a.m. I told him that he is not the person I would want to raise my children with. I told him how volatile he is, and how, even though he never hurt anybody, I don't want to be the first one. His reaction was to cry and beg, telling me I am the love of his life and he will get help. He pledged me he will never meet up with those friends again, that he never cheated on me, that he will go to therapy. It was a long breakup. Since then, he bought me tickets to Venice for my work milestone, which is in 2 months, saying that it is for me, and if I want, maybe for us. He brought me flowers for Valentine's and asked if we could meet. I said no, and I said I will block him if he goes on like this. I am incredibly sad because my family won't talk to me, saying I am selfish for not helping them with their emotional needs even now, and saying I should take him back. I feel so sorry for the both of us, what drugs and alcohol can turn you into. What I think about this story, I don't get why her family cares about her staying with this guy. I get that there's a culture gap in play, but this doesn't seem like an arranged marriage, and it's not like she was going to be reliant on him for income or support. Hell, given that it isn't the US, it's not like marrying a doctor would be a ticket to an upper middle class life. As in most places, doctors are very middle income. Why would her family want her to marry a drug-addicted drunk who isn't even a full doctor yet? Let's check users' comments. My ex was mentally abusive and just a dickhead in my own grandmother's words. She is also the only person who would regularly say, I miss X's name. Don't you miss him sometimes? It's too bad what happened. I thought he was so good for you. And when I'd ask why and cite an example of how he was changing me for the worst, gave me an eating disorder. And she would say, oh, I know that's what I meant. I thought he was good to you, but he wasn't. Oh well, you'll find someone. Like, thanks, Graham. Wasn't even thinking about that miserable stage of life until you brought it up for no reason again. Even after I started dating my current partner, there was one time she mentioned my ex, asking if I missed him again. I said, no, I don't. I never will. If you miss him so much, you can go date him. Don't talk about him to me ever again. And that shut her up finally. Family like this doesn't actually see OP and care about them as a person inside, just as who they are to the family. It's sad, and I hope OP can stay strong through all of this. Despite her family just piling it on, she needs what is best for her, and unfortunately, they are aligning themselves with what is worst for her. As a woman, I also have male pattern blindness, but I think about half of that is my ADHD. See the messy stare, think the stare should be vacuumed, move on and forget about it. Only I would often make stops in feel guilty and worthless, because you can't seem to clean the stare like you should, and also the stare would never be magically cleaned because I'm the only one here, so it's kind of a mix of the two. Though I think most of it is actually the ADHD, and that I was raised by an ADHD mother who is a bit of a hoarder, so I have a fairly high tolerance for mess. But because I dislike cleaning, executive dysfunction wouldn't allow me to actually clean anything until it reached critical mass. The emotional toll would finally allow me access to the executive function. Anyway, I hired a housekeeper, and it was the single best decision for my mental health that I have ever made. I used to think that I should have been made to do more chores growing up, so I'd get used to it. And now I know that probably wouldn't have actually helped, because I have a disability, LMAO. The struggle is real. Oh, I did forget to say that I am particular in my mess. I want all my dirty dishes on the kitchen island. I had to rearrange a mess my ex made of the kitchen because it was pissing me off because it was everywhere instead of in the designated spot, LOL. Thank you for watching to the end, but do not rush to get upset. The second part is waiting for us today. See you later. Bye-bye.